guys, welcome back to the Chelsweets kitchen. I'm here today to run you guys through all the tools that I use when I decorate cakes. So I get asked really frequently about what certain tools are called or what brands I prefer, and I'm going to give you all the details today. I'm also going to include the links below to each of these products so you guys can see exactly which products I'm using. So before I get into all the details, I just want you guys to know this is not a sponsored post. I wish it was. But these are truly just the brands that I love and have found work best when decorating cakes. So number one, the tool that I use the most and that I hold very near and dear to my heart is my KitchenAid. However, you don't have to have a stand mixer. It's a big commitment in terms of space in your kitchen and it's expensive, but a hand mixer would do for a majority of these recipes. However, if you are using a KitchenAid, I use a paddle attachment for almost all of my recipes, for buttercream, my cake recipes. So this also, the KitchenAid plus the paddle attachment are my most used tools. In terms of actual cake decorating, the two tools that I use the most are my offset spatula. So this is a large offset spatula. They also make smaller versions. And this is actually a Wilton, but there's tons of different brands out there and they're all pretty much the same. Another tool that I use all the time and I get asked about is called a bench scraper. So this bench scraper is actually an Acetate, and I'll include the link below, but there's a lot of different kinds of bench scrapers out there. So I prefer this one because it has a really nice grip, which makes the smoothing process a little bit easier. However, there are tons of different kinds out there. So this is also an Acetate, and it has different patterns on the side, so if you wanted to give your cake a really fun look, it'd be nice to have that. However, I use this mostly just for the smooth side. Another type of scraper is called a bowl scraper or a flexible scraper, and this is literally just a thin piece of plastic, but it's great for when you're shaping cakes that are rounded and you want to get nice smooth sides. So this is also another tool that I do use. In terms of piping tips, I always get asked what my favorite piping tip is, and I would have to say it's a Wilton 1M. So this is an open star tip, and I think it's probably one of the most popular tips that people use to make swirls. So if you don't have any tips and you're going to get your very first one, I recommend this one. Next up, I have piping bags, and this makes the process so much easier. You can use Ziploc bags with piping tips, but it's really hard to get a good seal on the tip, and piping bags make life so much easier. I use them all the time when I'm doing interesting patterns with frosting, or if I'm doing stripes on a cake. It's definitely essential for a lot of the designs that I do. Another item that I get asked about all the time is my cake stand, and this is actually an Acetate 612. I've had it for years. It's stainless steel. It moves so well, and it really can support the weight of any cake. I've made 3-tiered cakes on this, and it was fine. So this is a fantastic cake stand. There's a lot of different ones out there, but whatever kind you get, if you're about to invest in one, I recommend that it rotates because there's no way to really smooth without having a rotating base. So that is my cake stand. I also use a lot of cake rounds, and I just get these online in a large quantity, which I'll include the link below. I buy them in boxes of 100. So if you don't make that many cakes, you can definitely buy them in smaller quantities. They come in packs of 10 as well on Amazon. But I really like using cardboard cake bases that are grease-proof. And that makes it that way if you get some buttercream on your cake base, you can easily scrape it off and it doesn't stain. Sometimes if you don't have that and you're doing colored frosting, your base can get really messy looking. So grease-proof cardboard cake circles are essential for cake decorating for me. Also, it makes it a lot easier to move it in and out of your fridge. I like to always chill my crumb coat, so I need to be able to pop it into the fridge and take it out really easily. And if you're doing it actually on a cake stand, sometimes that can be a little difficult. So next up, I also get asked all the time about what my favorite food coloring is. And I always say I prefer gel food coloring, but I specifically prefer the AmeriColor brand. It's amazing. It gives you super vibrant colors, and you can buy them in a variety of sizes. So I have some larger bottles like this that have lasted forever. I've had this for 2 years now. I'm sure it will last me another 5. But if you don't want this much gel food coloring and you want some smaller bottles, they have certain starter kits like this. This box contains 12 different colors, and it's called the Student Kit, and it's a great way to start off if you want a variety of colors. Another item that comes in handy when I'm cake decorating is an acetate sheet. And this is essentially just a clear sheet of plastic. So I bought a bunch of these on Amazon. These come in a lot of handy when you're trying to make a naked cake, if you're making an ice cream cake. I also actually like to sometimes trim them down and use them to smooth curved cakes, because even though the bowl scraper does come in handy for that, I've actually found that an acetate sheet works better. It's just thinner and more flexible. So I actually use these pretty frequently too, and for a while I didn't know what they were called, so I thought I would share that as well. So again, an acetate sheet. And last but not least, my final baking essential is circle cutters. So if you Google circle cutters on Amazon and Home and Kitchen, a lot of these kits will pop up. This is Onita is the brand, but you can use whatever kind you want. It's really great to have different assorted sizes of circle cutters for several reasons. I use these all the time for fondant eyes, but they come in handy so frequently. I use them also when I'm making a checkerboard cake and I want to make rings. If I'm adding fondant polka dots to a cake, I really use them very frequently, so I highly recommend getting some circle cutters as well. If you guys have any questions or you want to know anything else about the tools that I use, please feel free to ask the questions in the comments. And also let me know what other tutorials you'd like to see. Thanks so much for joining me. Hopefully this has helped you guys today. And again, all of the product links are included below. Hope to see you guys again soon.